Do you prefer to study in the morning or in the evening?
I find that my concentration is much sharper during the early morning hours, so I generally prefer to study then. After a good night's sleep, my mind feels clear and energized, allowing me to tackle challenging tasks more efficiently before the distractions of the day begin to build up.
Is there anything you would like to learn in the future?
I am very keen on learning how to play the piano because I have always admired how music can convey deep emotions. Although I have never had any formal training, I believe that picking up a musical instrument would be a fantastic way to challenge my brain and develop a new creative outlet.
What kind of weather do you enjoy the most?
I have a strong preference for mild, sunny weather, particularly during the spring season when everything starts to bloom. It is comfortable enough to spend plenty of time outdoors, and the pleasant temperature makes it perfect for walking or meeting friends, without the extreme heat of summer, or the biting cold of winter.
How do you travel around your city?
I primarily rely on the city's efficient public transportation network, particularly the subway system, to get around. It is both convenient and environmentally friendly, allowing me to avoid the heavy traffic congestion that often plagues our roads during peak hours, and it also gives me a chance to read or listen to music while commuting.
Do you enjoy spending time in nature?
I find immense joy in spending time outdoors, especially when I can escape the noise of the city to visit a quiet park or a forest trail. Being surrounded by trees and fresh air has a calming effect on my mind, helping me feel more relaxed, rejuvenated, and deeply connected to the natural world around me. It was about 6 months ago, during a particularly heavy thunderstorm, that the electricity at my home suddenly cut out. I remember it vividly because the weather had been quite turbulent all afternoon, with strong winds rattling the window panes. I was in the middle of preparing dinner in the kitchen when the lights flickered twice and then completely died, leaving me in total darkness. The blackout lasted for nearly 4 hours, which was significantly longer than I had initially expected. Given the intensity of the storm outside, it was clear that a major power line in the neighborhood had likely been damaged. The silence that followed the hum of the refrigerator and the air conditioner was quite startling, and the only light source available was the soft, flickering glow from the lightning flashing across the sky. During those hours, I had to abandon my cooking plans and rely on candlelight. I gathered a few emergency candles from the pantry and moved to the living room. Since I could not use any digital devices for entertainment, I decided to make the best of the situation. I spent the time reading a physical book I had been meaning to finish for weeks, which felt surprisingly refreshing in the absence of electronic distractions. Later, I chatted with my family by the candlelight, which turned a potentially frustrating evening into a moment of genuine, uninterrupted connection. Reflecting on how I felt, I experienced a mix of emotions. At first, I felt a sense of annoyance and mild panic because I was concerned about my unfinished work and the disruption to my evening routine. However, as time progressed, that frustration shifted into a sense of calm and appreciation. It was rare to experience such complete stillness in my home, away from the constant buzz of notifications and the blue light of screens. It served as a gentle reminder of how much we rely on technology, yet it also highlighted the simple pleasure of slowing down and enjoying a quiet atmosphere. By the time the power was finally restored, I felt surprisingly rested, having had an unexpected break from my usual fast-paced digital life.
How dependent are people today on electricity?
People today are almost completely dependent on electricity, and this reliance touches every part of modern existence. Consider how we begin our mornings, with electronic alarms, electric kettles, and lights, all requiring power. Throughout the day, our workplaces, schools and hospitals function because of electricity, running computers, life support machines and essential equipment. Even our social connections depend on it, as smartphones and the internet need constant charging and network power. What makes this dependency so significant is that, most people have never experienced life without it, so they do not realize how vulnerable they truly are. A simple power outage causes immediate disruption, revealing just how deeply electricity is woven into the fabric of daily life, making it something we cannot function without.
What would life be like without electricity?
Life without electricity would be extraordinarily difficult and would force society to revert to a pre-industrial way of living. The most immediate challenge would be food preservation, as refrigerators and freezers would stop working, causing supplies to spoil within days. People would need to return to traditional methods like drying, salting and smoking foods to make them last, which requires knowledge that most modern generations have lost. Healthcare would also collapse, as hospitals depend on power for surgeries, ventilators, monitoring equipment and storing medicines. Without these, even treatable conditions could become life-threatening. Beyond survival, entertainment and communication would disappear, leaving people isolated and focused solely on meeting basic needs each day.
Do you think governments should invest more in renewable energy?
Yes, I believe governments should invest significantly more in renewable energy, and the main reason is environmental protection. Burning fossil fuels like coal and oil releases enormous amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which traps heat and drives climate change. This leads to more frequent extreme weather events, rising sea levels and damage to agriculture, affecting millions of people worldwide. By shifting investment towards solar, wind and hydroelectric power, countries can drastically reduce their carbon emissions and slow down this damaging process. Furthermore, renewable energy sources will never run out, unlike fossil fuels which are finite. This means that investing in them today ensures that future generations will have access to affordable and clean power without depending on imports from other nations, which also strengthens national security and economic stability in the long term.
How can individuals reduce their personal electricity consumption?
Individuals can reduce their electricity consumption by making simple but consistent changes to their daily routines. One effective habit is turning off lights and electronics completely when they are not in use, rather than leaving them on standby mode, which still draws power. Many people do not realize that phone chargers, televisions and computers continue consuming small amounts of electricity even when switched off but still plugged in. Another practical step is choosing energy-efficient appliances when old ones need replacing, as these are designed to perform the same tasks while using significantly less power. For example, modern refrigerators and washing machines with high energy ratings can cut electricity bills noticeably over time. When many individuals adopt these small habits, the collective reduction in demand can be substantial, helping to lower the strain on power grids and reduce the environmental harm caused by electricity generation.
What role do technological innovations play in shaping the future of energy use?
Technological innovations are absolutely essential in shaping a more sustainable future for energy use around the world. One major advancement is the development of smart home systems, which allow people to monitor and control their electricity consumption through mobile applications. These systems can identify which appliances use the most power and suggest adjustments, helping families reduce waste without sacrificing comfort. Another breakthrough is improved battery storage technology, which solves one of the biggest challenges facing renewable energy. Previously, solar and wind power were considered unreliable because they only generate electricity when the sun shines or the wind blows. With modern batteries, excess energy produced during favorable conditions can be stored and used later, making renewables a dependable option even at night or on calm days. These innovations, combined with more efficient appliances and electric vehicles, mean that future generations can maintain their quality of life while consuming far less energy and causing less damage to the environment.